You might not have noticed because this channel is very small, but I've sort of given up hope with regards to 360-degree cameras. My last 360-degree camera was the Insta360 X4. So that was what most of my content on this channel was filmed with. So now I have the X4. So I want to do a sort of comparison, sort of walk and talk video. And I'm pretty sure, without even comparing both footage, you can see the difference in quality, right? You can see how vibrant the color is. You can see how crisper the video is, and you can see that a stitch line is not that big of a problem, as in you can rarely see it, you can barely see it, you know. Plus, it's overcast, right? It's a cloudy day here in London, but the footage still probably looks good, right? So I just want to go through initial thoughts with this camera, and I also want to, again, just briefly compare the two cameras, because I think this camera will actually reignite my passion for 360-degree cameras. So, first off, the audio might be more crisper, and that's because I can now connect it with wireless mics. So I'm using the DJI Mic 2, which I'm sure, even without checking the footage, is going to be very crisp. I've got the wind guard on. You know, it's not really a windy day, but I'm pretty sure it's very crisp. You know, and so I just think that, yeah, again, this X4 will reignite my passion for 360. A lot of the problems I had with previous cameras were with regards to their limitations, whether it's resolution or things like compatibility with wireless mics, right? So here's what I think. I think the X4 fixes a lot of issues that the X2 definitely had. I never had the X3, so I'm not pretty sure. I did have the RS 1-inch, which was 6K, so I did know about the issues with that camera. The problem with the 1-inch though was that it was pretty much the body of the 1X, or sorry, the 1-inch was pretty much the core body for the RS cameras. So for me, it wasn't that much of a difference. You know, it still had the hardware limitations. Right, I just want to see how this lake looks. Hopefully you can see all the ripples with the 8K. Right, so I think with the X4 they really did fix a lot of the hardware shortcomings. It feels like a much more sturdier camera. People remark on its size, it's heavier, but it gives it its solid build. You know, it makes it feel more premium. In some cases, a lot of the Insta360 stuff can seem a bit more cheap, you know. But I think with the X4, it really delivers in terms of quality. The snappiness of the menus, very quick. Yeah, I'm just very impressed, right? But the key issues that I think the X4 fixed was, for example, when you export the files, the 360 files, it exports in two files, right? You get two video files. Oh, it's a bit windy here, so we might have to go the other way, which made the editing process a bit troublesome. I say troublesome or cumbersome, you know, a bit fiddly. You have to find multiple files, which was, you know, just didn't make it as streamlined as it could be, like with other standard cameras, you know. That's fixed now, so when you export from the X4, it's just one video file, right? And that makes everything easier. Another thing that I think the X4 fixed was, again, the Bluetooth connectivity with the mic. So I think the X3 did have the capability to link this up with a wireless mic, but this time around with the X4, it's just seamless, it's quicker. You can use multiple sources, i.e. AirPods, you know, other Bluetooth headphones. There's just so many other options that you can use, which, you know, adds to the versatility of using this camera. And again, the biggest upgrade would be the 8K. So I'm pretty sure in this footage, even when I edit it and even when I export it for YouTube, you're still going to see the difference. And that was my biggest gripe with other 360-degree cameras. The footage often looked flimsy, low res, a bit muddy. You know, the stitch line sometimes was a problem. You know, of course, the stitch line is dependent on how you hold the camera. But again, all these little problems just made it a bit of a nuisance when dealing with 360-degree cameras. You know, so I think the X4 fixed a lot of these problems, and it makes it a much more user-friendly camera. You know, and that's the thing. The biggest thing with 360-degree cameras is that, you know, firstly, a lot of consumers don't know about it, but also it has a habit of being a tricky camera to use. You know, where in this case, they've made it so that the X4 is at least a little easier to use, you know, which I think a lot of people will like. And I think as the sun comes out of the clouds, hopefully the resolution looks a bit better as well, the clarity looks a bit better as well, you know. I think the highlights of the X4 is, one of them would be the Me mode. The Me mode is basically a tracked 360-degree video. So sometimes what I will do, especially when I want to shoot or create a video with a third-person angle, such as this right now, I'll track my head while editing, and therefore it will keep the camera at the back of my head, so I can do creative things like maybe put a health bar in the top corner of my video to make it look like a video game. You know, that's basically Me mode in a nutshell. You hold the selfie stick out, and the camera will record you and always focus on you and track you, regardless of any positioning you are in. You know, I can't show it in this video because this video is a freeform 360-degree video, but you'll see it in other videos. You know, and that's a very good vlogging style. You know, and it goes beyond traditional cameras, because typically when you vlog, you can only vlog really your head up to your shoulders. With Me mode, you can pretty much vlog with your whole body, right? I'm walking in circles just because I'm a city boy. My white trainers, I don't want it to get muddy, you know? So yeah, Me mode is a feature. It's in 4K now. You can export it in 4K. I believe in the X3 you can only export 2.7K, which is good. I'm going to use the Me mode a lot, I think. Right, and it's a bit more discreet when recording out in public as well. Another highlight is the battery of the X4. Sorry, the battery is much bigger, meaning that you can record for much longer. And you know, that's always going to be a problem with 360 cameras. You know, you're filming with two lenses at high resolution as well, so camera becomes a problem. You know, and the thing with the X3, X2 and X4 is that the batteries aren't compatible. So often when you buy these cameras, you have to buy new accessories and new batteries all the time, which for the consumer is a bit annoying, you know. But there are some shortcomings when it comes to this camera as well. Everything isn't perfect, which is to be expected. I think the main gripe that I have with the camera would be with the low light performance. You know, that's something that, you know, I really appreciated from the 1-inch, was that at low light it was very clear. You know, therefore, you know, you are freed with regards to how you use that camera. You know, but when you have a camera that doesn't function too good with low light, you're pretty much limited to the day, right? Which is a limitation, you know, especially if you're from the UK, you know, where it's often overcast and the winter it's dark for many hours. You're really limited, you know. So the poor low light is something that I think can be fixed in the future. I reckon that the next iteration of this camera might just use a 1-inch sensor, which is obviously going to perform much better in low light, just like the 1-inch RS 1-inch camera. You know, that's all it needs. It just needs a bigger sensor so more light can come into the camera, and that will fix it. And you know, there's not a big size difference between a 1-inch and this X4. So I think probably X5, yeah, that's going to be the next biggest selling point. You know, good low light performance. And of course, the biggest, or one of the biggest issues with all 360-degree cameras is that the lens, being a sort of globe, the lens are very vulnerable to scratches. And there's nothing we can really do about that. That's just the nature of the beast. But yeah, that's the thing. So often when you utilize these cameras, you're going to have to handle it with a lot of care, and you need to make sure you protect it. You know, as a standard in the box in the X4, you get these standard lens guards, but I'm not using the lens guard right now because the issue that I find is that a lot of the times you get a lot of glare with the guards. You know, they do have a glass version which they call the premium lens guard, but I think the same issue will happen. You know, there's still going to be risk of altering your video footage, which I don't like. You know, but there are other guards. There are rubber guards that you can use. There's a cover that comes in the box that you can always keep it in. But what I did to circumvent this issue was basically where I bought this camera from, I just made sure to insure it from accidental damage. I mean, that's the only way to get around this problem. Insure it for accidental damage, so you can get replacement whenever these lenses get hit. You know, when they get a big scratch that you can't fix, you know, make sure you get insurance with these types of cameras. You know, but all in all, very happy with this camera. Again, it's enhanced my creativity and my desire to want to get out here and shoot some more 360-degree videos. I used to use the DJI Pocket 3, but while it's a good camera, good vlogging camera, good traveling camera to use, it's still just a standard camera, even with the gimbal. You know, it's still just a standard camera. And that's the thing with standard cameras, is that it doesn't really give you much more creativity. You know, with the 360-degree camera, there is so much you can do. Change perspective, angles, you know, so much you can do. And as well, in the Insta360 app, of course, there's a whole load of modes and imagery that you can use with your footage to make it a bit more exciting, a bit more new. You know, that's what I really appreciate about 360-degree cameras. So I've really benched the DJI Pocket 3. I'm using the DJI Mic, obviously, but I think the DJI Mic 2 plus the X4 is a great combination. And I'm seeing a lot of content creators say the same thing. So all in all, this is a short video. You might see more 360-degree camera videos coming up. But X4, Insta360 X4 is a great camera, very versatile, fixes a lot of the problems that the previous iterations had, and the comparison between X2 and X4 blows it out of the water. Again, even once I edit this and YouTube will compress it, still I'm pretty sure you'll see the enhanced picture quality. So let me know what you think right down below for now, and see you next video.